Welcome to this week's episode of the Corde Snell Show. I am Corde Snell. Next to me, I have Jared, and behind the ones and twos, we have Angel, aka Noah. That's an inside joke for you guys. This week was pretty good. How you doing, Jared?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Still on the Good Times Tavern bachelorette party.
Definitely. We definitely gonna get straight into that, man. I gotta. For those who don't know, Jared hosts several different open mics. He has one on Monday and he has another one on Tuesday. The Tuesday one is called the Good Time Tavern out here in Livermore, and I got a set, and I'm doing some jokes, and then these four gorgeous women walk in, and I'm not easily distracted. These women distracted me very easily. I say the quote unquote the ugliest, but she wasn't ugly, was a 8.5. So it was like a 10, a 9, and an 8.5. And if you know the Good Time Tavern, it's kind of like a dive bar, like a really dive bar, like a really divey bar, like kind of look like probably like a lot of motorcycle gangs will pull up to or go to, something like that. It looked very ish like that. And then you see these women walking in, look like they're, like you said, heading to a bachelorette party, heading to like, probably they go to brunch a lot or something like that. And it's 9:30 on a Tuesday and they walking in. I'm just like, who are these random women coming in? And then I'm up there trying to tell jokes, but I'm just distracted by their beauty that I couldn't even finish my next thought. I was like, I got to impress these women. I was like, what jokes that I'm working on is going to impress them? I couldn't think of any. It was the first time I really got distracted by four beautiful women on stage and couldn't come up with nothing because I wanted to impress them so much. Then Jared goes up and asks them, what are you doing here? And they just looks at him and says, oh, we're lost.
Makes sense.
And I was like, makes sense. So he was like, oh yeah. And then they proceeded to stand there, buy drinks, stuff like that, talking and stuff like that, because they don't know what's an open mic going on. They don't know what we're doing. They're just here to have a good time, have conversation. And it was funny because I told people not to talk to them so they could possibly come back again, and they just proceeded to talk to themselves for super long, not listening to anybody's stand up and stuff like that. And it's kind of weird because they did start listening to a few people. They was like, oh, what did he say? What did he say? And it's funny because women like that don't know what's going on, or people who just wander into an open mic don't know anything that's going on. And if a dude is like saying like kind of like an off the wall joke or has like a very dark sense of humor, and you just hearing somebody talking about some like weird stuff, you're like, what the fuck is that? Easily could be triggered. And I'm just like, dude, how can I finagle my way into a conversation with these ladies? But at the same time too, because one of them kept looking back at me, and I was like, oh snap, we making eye contact. And I'm like, she could just be looking around the room, not even like feeling me at all. And then a lot of times too, when situations like that happen, I always get in my head about it, but then also I'll be thinking like, all right, if I go over there and start talking to these chicks, do I actually have a chance, or I'm just wasting my time? Because I was tired too. So I'm like, do I go over there and try to see and get the number, or do I just leave? Because I had 2 sets that night and I was preparing for a show at Cobb's in San Francisco. Do I go home, start lesson planning, things like that? And that's what I did, because sometimes I be trying to go after women or trying to go after chicks at a show or after an open mic, and literally it becomes a waste of time more than likely than not. So it was like, let's stay focused. Let's stay focused to the goal. Let's stay continue thinking about these jokes. Let's go on the way home. Let's listen to the jokes back. Let's review them. Let's see any tags or punchlines that we could have came up with. So then like I'm staying my clear focus on my career and on my goals. But fine women are distracting. I'm not gonna lie, because Jared, didn't you ask them like if they had kids or something like that? Yeah.
Well, yeah. So my interpretation of this is like you said, Good Time Tavern, normally a dive bar, not a lot happens, and like 4 mimosa mommies come in here.
Mimosa mommies.
Exactly. So I'm like, what are you doing in this place? Mm-hmm. Like, this is no place for ladies of your ilk.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, I'm not going to talk to him. My girlfriend was there. So I was like, no, I'm safe. Like, I know I'm not coming after you. I just need to know, why are you here?
Exactly. and then also with that, okay, so here's another thing too. Your girl is there. Dudes who have girlfriends give a different type of energy off to women like that. Like if I'm walking up and I'm talking to you, like they can already tell this guy's not trying to get at me. He's actually wondering, why am I here? Me, myself, I'm gonna walk up and be like, oh, hey, how's it going? And stuff like that. Or sometimes if I walk up cool, or because that night I was trying to leave, if I walk up like, hey, what's your names? What y'all trying to get into? Or something like why are y'all here? Like with the right frame of mind that I had that night, like, hey, I'm just trying to do 5 minutes of this open mic and then trying to get up out there. I might have had the good mindset of, yo, I'm just trying to figure out, how did y'all stumble into here? Where did y'all go? Did y'all only come in here because it was raining? Because they stumbled in and it's raining. I don't know if y'all seen the movie The Mask, when Cameron Diaz has the jacket on and she's like stumbling, like she's like raining, and then she walks into the bank and then she takes the jacket off and she looks fine as shit. It was like 4 women like that stumbling to the Good Time Tavern. Everyone was just like, who's that? Like, what they like? I'm gonna go. And then people coming up trying to talk to them. Like one dude, he's like, oh, okay, where you from? What's your name? Like, all right, cool. Oh, shoot. Like, y'all talk about that, just try to figure out anything that they say in their conversation. Then I can strike up a conversation with them. And I'm like, I see these gorgeous women here. I'm not even going to try to bug them because they just here for a good time at the Good Time Tavern. So I'm just like, I'm gonna let them have a good time. But I definitely wondered, where was y'all actually trying to go? Like, if it wasn't raining, would y'all have stumbled in here? But it was a cool time, and I don't get distracted by much, but they certainly was distracted. And I did have a moment with this one chick 2 different times. Oh, and then you asked the one woman, why you have a blazer on? Yeah. It's funny because he was like, it's like a job interview. She was the finest one. She was the finest one, and he's going after her. And I was like, there you go, Jared. Neg her. You say something negative to her immediately. That way you lower her down. And then now she's like, who's this guy talking shit? And then because you throw like a fine woman off balance by doing that. You say like, oh, damn, girl. Like, you couldn't get your toes done or something like that? Like, you wore these nice shoes with your toes done. It's like, no, I just got them done. Like, nah, you look like you got that pedicure about a week and a half ago. Like, girl, like, what? Like, no, this is fresh. Like, you need a new mani-pedi woman or something like that, because she ain't, like, I know a few. I got 3 sisters, so I could, like, hook you up. It's like out in Berkeley. It's like, I know a cool lady. She'll give you a cool little discount. Tell her Corde sent you, and she'll get you right. And then I'm like, and then she starts talking to you. Don't think like, girl, like, do my feet look bad? Do my feet look messed up? Like, what's going on? Like, this the asshole and shit like that. And they're like, who are you to be saying? And then, but at the same time, because you was told them, it's kind of like, whatever. Like, I'm fine. I'm like, I mean, your white jacket is nice, but I do see like a stain on it. Like, what happened? Was you eating something before you came here? And then you just throwing them completely off. Meanwhile, the other dude, I like your white jacket. I don't think there's nothing wrong with your white jacket. And she like ignoring him because now she mad at me because I'm talking shit about her, about what she wearing. Whole time in the back of my head, this woman fine as shit. I'm just messing with her. But you gotta figure a way to talk to women sometime. And sometimes they always say like negging. Like, I don't know if you guys read the book, The Game, The Secret Art of Pickup. You read that shit? Yeah, I carry it with me all the time. It looks dope as shit. Like, I was reading, I think I got the book in 2012. But say negging. So you say a negative comment or something like that. And really what it just is, you're just trying to throw off the chick in the moment. You're trying to figure out a way to get her attention and keep her attention. That's all you're trying to do. But yeah, it was her. Then it was the other chick who kept looking back. Oh, it was the one chick who didn't have the kid, kept looking back at me. And I was just like, what's going on right here? Like, and I'm like, is she actually looking at me? Nah, she's just looking around the room. But she like looked back, smiled. I was like, nah, this ain't true. And then in my head, I just went, this is a distraction. This is a distraction from my goal. Because I'm just trying to do comedy right now. I'm just trying to do comedy. I always tell myself, I'm just trying to do comedy. And she's just going to be a distraction from that. And she's not going to understand the grind of what I'm trying to go through. And that's why I wanted to get into dating. Like, I'm single out here. I'm dating. I go on dates and stuff like that. But it's hard a lot of the time because sometimes they don't go anywhere, or after a while I might be like, I need to just focus on comedy. And I kind of sabotaging myself, or not even sabotaging myself. I'm just busy. Like, we do the podcast. We just started this up. I do a few other podcasts. I got a sports one. I do another one called The Voice Party. But then I'm out here grinding for open mics, like the Tuesday one, right? So if I would have played that right, that was my second open mic of the night. If I would have got left earlier, I could hit 3 open mics that night. And then I had the show at Cobb's on Wednesday. And then Thursday I was supposed to go to my homie show, but Thursday and Friday I didn't go to no shows because I was too exhausted. Like, my body was just exhausted from the week. But sometimes that happens, like where I might have a show Wednesday, or I'll go to open mic Wednesday. Then I'll like do a podcast Thursday, or I might go hit up four bells before it, and then go to do the podcast Friday. Might have a show Saturday. Might have a show Sunday. Might go to the Punchline and hang out to see if I can get up a show. And I'm watching football during the whole day, so I'm busy. And then the girls be like, "So when are you free?" And I'm like, "What you doing Monday?" What about Tuesday? You free after 8:30? Why after 8:30? Because I'm trying to hit this open mic. Like probably Mondays is probably my most open day, because there's no open mic that I want to drive to. Like I know Chris Beasley has the mic in San Carlos, and San Carlos is about an hour and a half from me, and then the drive back is probably like another hour and a half, and I'm just like for 4 minutes. And it's not like I want to do it, but then I just be like, bro, that is a long drive for 4 minutes, and then I always miss the pre-signs. So I'm not trying to wait till 12 to go up, because then it starts at 6. I probably won't go up till 7. And then I got to drive in the heavy heart of traffic going across the bridge. So it's like, that's my most one open night. And then Tuesdays, every other Tuesday, because I can hit 3 mics in one night. I usually hit a McNally's, which is like a staple of like open mic that I try to go to. And then I'm just like, okay, well, maybe I go late. Like if a girl, I always hate when a girl asks me to go out the same time a mic starts. Because I'm just like, if this goes bad, I could have been doing an open mic right now. I could have been practicing my craft right now. I could have been crafting these jokes better. I could have been getting ready for this set I have on Friday, or a set I have on Sunday or Saturday, this headlining spot. I could have been working on the jokes I've been thinking about on the drive to this date, or the drive from work, or while I was at work, or something like that. So it was always a constant thing that I'm thinking about, like of how to get better as comedy, but then also trying to find a woman who understands my grind and wants to be part of it, and we grow together. Like that's the hard part. Like I always feel like if you date the wrong chick, she might just be overly absorbed and just want you to be with her and go about like her daily plans, her weekly plans, stuff like that. And he's like, you have to fit into her life instead of she fitting into your life, or you guys fitting into each other's lives in like a cross section, like compromising, right? Sometimes it's like a compromise thing. Like if I really met a chick who I really liked and I'm really trying to form around it, and I usually do. I usually try to fit stuff around. Like sometimes if it's like an open mic, I get there early, and then a chick hit me up like, hey, can we hang around 9? I'll drive to it immediately, kind of a thing. Like, and I feel like honestly, sometimes what happens, and the reason why I kind of quote unquote sabotage some dates, or not dates, but like after we go on our first date, is because I'm concerned that I might become overly invested in this person, where I'll forget about all my goals and kind of wrap myself around them. And then like, Corde, we ain't seen you in a while, because this is what I used to do this early on in comedy. Corde, like, what you been doing? Oh, I've been dating. I'm with this chick. I've been hanging out. And you see that sometimes with your homies. Like they get a new girlfriend. You don't see them as often. They don't hang out with the homies. They're with their girl now. And it's great. No knocking it. But sometimes I'm in back of my head, I'm all like, will this interfere with my comedy? Well, I'll go back to not pursuing like, well, I can't, like maybe not cancel the show, but definitely not do as many shows. Like, oh, that's date night. Like, will I, or I'm not hitting as many mics. I'm not as well prepared. And now I'm getting mad at myself. Like, damn, you were supposed to hit up more mics for the show. But like, how was my girl? That's cool as not. And then one thing can happen. I can either stop being as good at comedy, or I can start resenting the girl I'm dating. And that's usually 2 things that I never want to do.
That makes sense. That's, I have it like designated. Yeah. Like Wednesdays and Fridays are like the open days for me and my girl to see each other. And it helps for me because she's a performer as well. But yeah, I couldn't imagine dating someone who doesn't do that. They have to be very like, okay, I'm going to support. It's like, I've heard there's a guy named Alex Hormozy. He's like a business guy, like a business influencer or whatever. He talked about there's like only 2 types of relationships. There's like cheerleader and quarterback. Yeah. Or there's basically like a 50-50. And he's like, it's very rare you get the 50-50. Usually someone's just leading it and the other one's following. Yeah. And if you're both trying to like be the quarterback. Yeah. And yeah, so it's not easy to square that circle.
Yeah, because 2 quarterbacks are in competition with each other. They're trying to be the starting quarterback of the team, and cheerleader and the quarterback, they can get along because, the one is the starting player of the football team, the other, or you do like this. One's the quarterback and one's the captain of the cheerleading team, you know? So they're cheering on the quarterback, cheering on the team. And even though it's mostly, you think of a woman being a star captain of the cheerleader squad, you could be the same thing when the male is in her arena, when the male is at her job. I'm cheering on my girl. I'm cheering on my wife. I'm cheering on my long-term girlfriend, my fiance, because I want to see my girl do well in that same sense. So this gender roles are swap. But if y'all both quarterbacks and it's both like, no, I gotta, it won't work because it's two people who won't or can't compromise. And then that's how relationships end. That's yeah, I didn't mean to get it. Well, I kind of wanted to get into this last week, but I just wanted to talk about it too, because Jared, you've been with your girl for how long now?
6 years.
6. Okay, yeah, man. See, and I've been single for a long time, dude. Like, I'll get into it real quick. I dated a woman in 2020. We didn't date for a while, but it was like intense. It was one of those intense relationships, and I kept like thinking, like, is this like a summertime relationship that's not happening in the summer right now? Because we started dating, like, we started talking like mid to late April, I think, or late April, early May or something. No, it was like end of March, and then we dated until like probably like the end of July, right? Because I remember I got COVID in July. I broke up with her and while I had COVID. Great woman. I used to be driving to see her this is 2020. So during 2020, everything was shut down. So you spent a lot of time together with people, right? So I spent a lot of time with her one-on-one, but we were making sure, like, hey, was you around anybody? Like, no. Like, was you getting tested? Like, you know, because not even getting tested at that point, because like mask was still new and like you still had to figure out, or like, were you around people? And I'm like, okay, I like kind of, but like not really, you know, kind of like I kept my distance and I was wearing masks and stuff. And it was like really intense. We discussed everything. When I say discussed everything, we discussed marriage, we discussed kids, we discussed starting a life together. Like, if this comedy thing blows up, would I move away? We discussed like my career of like teaching. She was like, yo, I'll help you get your credential. My mom works at this place. You can go to East Bay, go there, and then we can get you like a job in like Fremont. And then what started happening was the only thing we talked about at the most was only me teaching. Comedy never came up really. I was like, well, you know, do comedy? So, oh, you know, yeah, but teaching is where, you know, where's that? And she had kids. Not saying the kids like played like a huge role in it, but a lot of the times, sometimes it played a role. I was like, you know, if I ever become big or if I ever want to like really become successful in comedy, like I got to move to LA. And she's like, well, you know, it's hard to move kids. So it seemed like it was like roadblocks already coming up and picking up and stuff. And I never asked her flat out if would, because I was like, we was like looking at a family. I was like, would we move the family to LA? And I remember initially, I just like, you know how you kind of throw those floater questions out there, like those test questions, like, where do you see yourself living? So I don't know, Concord or like Fremont or, you know, like maybe like Pleasant Hill, just like very like these like few areas. So what about you? I was like, I don't know. I mean, I like the Bay, but then I don't know. I can see myself living in LA or like out of state or someplace like that. Like someplace that's like, I don't mind moving, like trying to just, you know, she's like, you know, it's kind of hard to move and my family's all here and everything. My mom is here. And I was like, my family's here too. But you know, she's like, yeah, why would you want to leave your family? And I'm like, for better opportunities. And it was kind of like one of those things where I was like, damn, I was like, would I have to try to convince her to try to move her and the kids? She's like, because she had kids by like another guy. He was like, well, he still lives here and I can't want to take him away from him. And I was like, I get that. But I was like, you know, like, what should we do? And then I had this random vision. I don't know if I shared it, but it was like this random vision I told my homie. It was where I had quit comedy. And like I told her I had wanted like 2 kids. So she had 2 already, and then we was gonna have 2 together. So we had 4 kids. And then like I'm in love with her. Our kids are growing up. Amazing family dynamics. And then I miss comedy a fuck ton. I'm like 45, 46. And I'm getting back in the comedy game, going to open mics. And then I've had the serious love for her. And that's why I quit comedy, because I love her that much. But now at the age of 45, 46, I'm going back to open mics. I'm going back to try to figure out the punchline situation now. people I known who I did comedy with, they are huge. I see them on Netflix and stuff like that. So it's always a resentment in the back of my head, kind of a thing like, fuck, that could have been me if I would have, but the kids are older now. They're in their teens. So they can like stay home. They could do homework and stuff. I don't have to stay home and watch them now. They're able to, the other kids are able to watch their younger brothers and sisters and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, cool. Now I can get back out there. And it's like this huge resentment of 10, 12 years of like, what could have been, like what could have happened. And I was like, but I'm happy. I found a family. I love them. Do I regret the fact that I'm an adult now with a whole family and a wife that I love and kids and 4 kids that I love? Because at that point, like we've been together for that long, like 4 kids I love. We have a family. We got a house. I got a good paying job. Like I remember because I told her I was a PE teacher. She was like, I can get you somewhere where you start off making $80K as a PE teacher. And I was like, $80K as a PE teacher? That's a good ass gig. Right?
Yeah, that's a lot for a PE teacher.
And then imagine I'm doing that for 12 years. I'm probably like up at the 90K or like 100K figures, stuff like that. And we living in Fremont. We living nice and shit like that. But in the back of my head, I'm just like, this comedy thing, I never really got to fully scratch. I never got to fully itch, like I never, and this is before like I got up at the Improv, before like I opened for Eddie Griffin, before I opened for Marcelo Hernandez, before I opened for like Pablo Francisco, James Davis, and all that stuff. Like that stuff hadn't been realized. And then it was one of those things like, so do you want to go through all of this and then end up regretting the person you gave up everything for? Exactly. And so I said no, and I broke up with her.
What a badass story.
But it's real though. It's something real. Like, cause my homies always reflect. He said, "Whatever happened to the one girl?" And I was like, "Man, she was great. She was amazing. It was just I didn't want to get lost in her. I didn't want to get lost like in this whole other life that could have happened. But then I would have lost out on comedy. I would have lost out on this dream. Because I remember even through me doing comedy, the one thing that's been consistent is me pursuing comedy. Because I remember the first dream was pro in football. That's my first dream. And then I always wanted, my backup plan would be become a lawyer. And so like after I'm done with football, I'll like become a lawyer, or I can go into TV and practice law and things like that. And that'll be like the next part of my career. And then eventually the last part of my career will be teaching.
What position did you want to play?
Oh, linebacker, dude. Linebacker. I wanted to be Ray Lewis or Jonathan Vilma. Right now, I'm not a 49er fan, but Fred Warner, like those kind of guys, stuff like that. Yeah, hell yeah, I want to play that position. I want to be leading. I want to be calling the plays. I want to be leading the defense. I want to give like those motivational speeches before we get out there. I want to come through, make the game-changing play, get that interception, get that sack, get that, knock somebody out or something like that. Have just highlight reels, all that kind of stuff. I wanted to be that guy. That was my first dream because I could take care of my family. You know how people always say, I want to take care of my mom? I never wanted to take care of my mom like that because my mom got me into education. Not like that. No, but listen, hear me out. Because everyone says immediately, I want to take care of my mom. I wanted to retire my dad. Like I don't feel like give enough up for dad. Well, sometimes seeing a parent house, but nobody usually gives up to the dad who takes you to practice every day. Make sure you got to every like camp. Make sure you stretching. Make sure you're lifting. Make sure you got your Gatorade and stuff like that. I think Bill Cosby has a joke like that. He's like, my dad took me to practice. We worked out. We did all kind of stuff. And what was the first thing he said when he got drafted? Thank you, Mom. Like, because my dad, he doesn't have he has a high school education, but he didn't like go to college or anything. I think he took one class during college. My mom, high school education. She has a nursing degree, nursed for like 25 years, doing well as a nurse. My dad works for a city out here in the Bay Area, makes good money, but he's constantly working hard, like doesn't take that many vacations, constantly showing me like how to be a man and stuff like that. I wanted to become super successful and be able to retire him where he can just enjoy time with my mom. So my mom's working and stuff like that, saving up, trying to get in like a bunch of different other stuff. I just want to have my dad be like, hey, Dad, you can retire now. You ain't got to work. You can work when you want to. Like, I know you don't have like a college degree, but now you're able to go whenever mom's going on vacation. You can do that too. Like, cause I know my mom would probably keep working because being a nurse, you get ridiculous benefits. You get ridiculous pension when you retire, stuff like that. And then like now, Dad, you can work when you want to. You can work 3 to 4 days a week. If you want to do something else, if you want to try to figure something else out. Like, I wanted to be able to retire him from that standpoint where he doesn't always have to work every single day to put food on the table for all of us. He has the option of doing other stuff. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to retire my dad. So when Noah was over here laughing, like I didn't want to retire my mom, or I didn't want to take care of my mom, because I wanted to look at my dad. I wanted to go in the opposite way, because I found out my mom was a nurse because of my dad. Because my dad, when she was going to nursing school, he picked up more work. He would watch us growing up. He would watch us as she was like in the back room, like studying to make sure she was able to do her tests, make sure she was getting A's on her test. So he was doing mom and dad stuff in the household so that my mom can become the career woman she is now. Like, that's the thing I love about them, because he helped her get to that place. My mom tells me all the time too. She said, because she has her godmom who has since passed, may she rest in peace. She told her, when you get that degree, when you become that nurse, when you become this elevated position, you're going to make more than that man. But don't you ever put that man down, because he helped you get to where you are. He's the reason why you're there. You studied and everything, but remember everything he did for you too. He drove you to work. He watched the kids so you can study those grades that you got to pass your boards. He helped you with that. So don't you ever throw that in the man's face. Because a lot of times in society, we always think about how man has to be the breadwinner. Man has to make the most. A man has to do all these kind of things. And I always think to myself, because I'm single now, but I'm thinking like in the future of the family. So if a man doesn't work, is he not a man? If a man isn't making the most, is he not a man? Is he not is he not considered a man because he's not doing a lot of stuff? But what if he's taking care of everything else? Like, it's always people like, yo, I couldn't marry, I couldn't be with a woman who make more than me. Why not? Y'all together. We live in the Bay. Like, it's always funny too, people like have these kind of opinions. They never usually live in the Bay. They never live in someplace expensive. Like, I can't have a woman make more than me. Do you live in New York? That's the place expensive as fuck. Like, do you live in Philadelphia? Do you live in Chicago? Like, a name expensive places, like,
San Jose,
LA, Santa Clara. I can't have no woman making more than me. Like, you know how much rent costs? Like, you know how much some of this shit costs? And then it'd be like, you trying to work so much to where you make more than her constantly. You never home. You never there spending time with your woman because you want to be making more than her, killing yourself, grinding yourself instead of having an even playing field with 2 incomes. There's nothing wrong with 2 incomes. In today's world, you need 2 incomes to be steady, to be safe. To just in case if you lose your job, you won't have to abandon everything. She'll be able to pick up the slack until you get back up there. Like, what if you want to go back to school for a year and you're like, babe, can you just take over? She's like, yeah, I got you. I can do this now. Like I can, my job it's gonna be a little tighter than normal, but hey, babe, we gonna get through this. You gonna go, let's say if you want to go back to get a degree at a school you just 1 year away or a few semesters off, we're gonna have to this next 9 months gonna be tight. But then when I graduate, boom, we gonna be taken care of. We back up there like before. Like, we gonna take a vacation after I graduate, or I'm trying to go back to trade school or something like that. And then when you finally taking care of stuff like that, she might want to go do something, or she might discover, hey, that's what you need. You need a partner, a partner that works together, a partner that works with you. Not a dominant figure, like a partner, a life partner. Y'all work together on stuff. It ain't just supposed to be 70-30 or 80-20, 90-10. I just want her at home with the kids. Why? Let her do something else. Women can do stuff other than just raise kids. You can help raise kids too. It confuses me so much. And then usually when I look at a relationship, I think of stuff like that. And we talk about all the time, I moved to LA. Yes, I want to move to LA. And so my mind be elsewhere trying to figure these other stuff like that. But I always think to myself, my homies who are getting married, got wives, starting their family and stuff. I'm like, damn, I wish I had that, But I'm like, hey, eventually I will find that when my time comes. I'll find the right one who I'm supposed to be with when that time comes. Maybe she was at the Good Time Tavern, She had the white jacket, but she didn't know and I didn't know we were supposed to be together, you know? That's just some relationship talk. That's super deep. I didn't mean to go all the way there, but I wanted to talk about this forever because comics are married, comics do relationships, comics be out here dating. Some people, like yourself, Jared, were with your girl for 6 years. Real quick story. I remember every time I saw a female comic who did comedy, I always thought she had a dude. Every time I met him, because when I first started comedy, every chick that I knew had been doing comedy for about a year or two, but was with her dude for 4 or 5. So every time I met a chick, I was like, "Oh, you got a boyfriend?" She's like, "Yep." I was like, "How long have we been together? 3-4 years?" She's like, "Yeah, how'd you know?" I was like, Just figured as much. So then it was funny because when newer chicks started coming to the comedy scene, I was like, "Hey, you can't talk to her. She got a dude." They're like, "No, she don't, Corde." I was like, "Yes, she do." I was like, "Why do you think that?" I was like, "Because every female comedian I meet has a dude already, and then they get into comedy." But it'd be funny. Like some people be dating comics. Like I would date a comic because they would understand. We talked about understanding the different roles and understanding like I'm busy on these days. We'll go to open mics together. We'll go to shows together. We don't have to be on every show. That's, you don't have to be on every show. But you at least understand where I'm coming from, where I'm going from. Let's pivot. Let's talk about AI. Let's talk about AI real quick. George Carlin. We shared a George Carlin special that was made and created by AI. And I watched, I think, like the first 10 minutes of it. Then I fast forwarded to the part where the AI said they was going to take over and start doing stuff. I never thought that I had to worry about AI stealing jokes.
Yeah, no, me neither. I was, like we were saying before the podcast, I mean, if there was a comedian, I think, to start with an AI thing, George Carlin's a good one. Mm-hmm. His delivery's very much the same. Yeah. I think it's easy for a robot to replicate. Mm-hmm. But still, yeah, when it started getting kind of metatextual about how, all your favorite comedians are going to be on a 24-hour channel talking on like news, I was like, Carlin never said anything like that. So it just added that in. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I found it very creepy at the very end.
It's probably very creepy, and it's another like a kind of a sense that this too will end. But I'm just like, organic funny cannot be recreated through a computer. Like the human element cannot be recreated through a computer. Like we talk about joke thieves. Now we got people stealing like our whole identity. Like I never thought that I had to do that. And it was funny because the AI, if you listen to it, he comes on as somebody else. This is not George Carlin. This will not be George Carlin, stuff like that. I'm just like doing my best impression as if I was George Carlin. And I'm like, why does this AI seem superhuman right now? Like, why does I feel like this AI is doing a bit of an hour of stand-up being George Carlin? I'm like, this is super weird. Like, I'm looking at the Ari Spears, people do voices, all those comedians. I'm not saying Ari Spears steals or anything like that, but I'm like, I can never imagine Ari Spears or Godfrey or some other people who do voices like a Jay Farrow. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be a whole other person for an hour. I think the only time someone has done that was actually Will Ferrell, but he's an actor doing comedy acting and like doing, I think, George Bush for like an hour. Like that's way different. That's some way it's just like weird to think about. But on that same thing, because like comedy, you go to dark places, you think dark different things. I've always thought like if I pass tragically, like, which I hope never happens. I hope I don't pass till like I'm 95, like, right? But I've thought, because you go to funerals, stuff like that, who would I give my jokes to? Like who, like what, piece of thing where like I'd be like, okay, I want to give all my jokes and like let this comedian do it. Or like would I think not Mark Norman, but I remember a comedian did one last taping of his special and he just did it from his house. He just did, like, he plugged up the computer, recorded it. He passed recently and he just performed it. Not in front of anybody. It was just like in front of him, his camera with like some headphones like this and like a mic, just like, hey guys, this is my special. I think it's on Netflix too. Like, hey, this is my special and this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this stuff because I don't know when it's going to come out. I think it was like in 2021 or something like that release, or 2022, but I think he recorded during the pandemic just so he can have like an hour of something and he put it out. Or I don't know if he put it out, but it was like, it was there. And then later I think it got picked up by like Netflix. So I always think about stuff like that. But then, I'd be thinking about like little notes that I'd be having about stuff like, because I know where I would go with this joke. And I'm like, will they be able to go in the same mind frame as me with this joke? Will they be able to tell it the same as me? Will they be able to like see the funny in what I found, and I feel like it will never be the same because that we think differently. But I was just like, oh, it'd be cool if my homie like did my jokes like kind of like maybe catapulted him to like a whole other stardom. Like I was there on the right thing. It just, I just couldn't. I didn't last long enough, or my life was so shortly ended, which I don't want to happen. But I just thought about something like that, like who would I like, or like because I remember 2009, like I had like a very scary thing where I have it's called a conversion disorder. At first it was I had epileptic seizures, then it was like pseudo seizures, but never say that because pseudo seizures are like the medical term people think you're faking, which is like pisses me off because I'm like, I have like real ass shit that be happening. So it's called a conversion disorder, right? At the time it was getting dark. Like it was getting like pastors coming in, like we don't know what's going on. Like I remember like it was, so I was thinking, who am I gonna give my PlayStation 2 to or my PlayStation 3 to? I was like, well, I'll give it to like my cousin Alvin, or I'll give it to like this, I'll give my games to my little brother and stuff like that. So I think I've been conscious of that just because of that happening. Like medical emergencies are random. It can happen, like an aneurysm that could pop in your head and like kind of like having stuff taken care of, like, cause I got a huge shoe collection. I don't think y'all know about it, but I gotta have a huge shoe collection. I'll be going live on Instagram sometime, and now my homie be like, he was like, you still at Foot Action? And I was like, yeah, I'm at Foot Action. What size you need? Cause I got like 30 pairs of shoes behind me, 30 pairs of shoe boxes behind me, and then I still have like more in the closet. They have like more that's not in boxes, and I'm just be like, who would I give all these shoes to? Cause I don't know what size shoe you wear, Jared.
I'm like a 9.5.
I wear a size 14. Exactly. Yeah. My foot is massive. And it's hard to find shoes too, because the common one now has been 13, 14, and 15 is kind of like we have one pair of 14s. 15 is kind of like we have two pairs, or like kind of like that. But then when people are like, oh, it's easy to find shoes because your foot is so big. I'm like, no, 16, 17, and 18 are like the ranges where it's like, okay, we have these two pairs of this one shoe that you always see when you go into like a Ross, a Marshalls. Those are always 16, 17, and 18. They don't have the 14 and 15. Like, because the person probably wears a 13. Like, I'll take this 14 because it's not that much big. I'll put some socks in it. And the 15 kind of just gets lost in translation. But yeah. So it's like always like a hard find. It's like size 14 pair of shoe. And I still hate it when I found out my foot was growing. It was like 2011. My cousin measured my foot because he was working at Foot Action at the time. He was like, I say, hey, before we buy you these new J's that's coming out, let me measure your foot just in case. I was like, for what? He was like, you say you've been growing, your back been hurting. If you've been growing like physically, like your back or like kind of your torso, maybe your foot grow too. I was like, nah, my foot didn't grow. He's like, let me just measure your foot anyway. Measure my foot. Head drops. I was like, what? He's like, cuz like in a size 13 and a half. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, they make those? He was like, nah, not really. I was like, so what am I gonna do? He's like, you're gonna have to be wearing 14s. And I remember I had bought a pair of 14s and it felt big, right? It felt big at the time. I was like, this like felt big, but kind of like, roomy, right? But then I tried on the 13. I tried on 13. I was like, this hurts. I was like, damn it. And now size 14 shoes fit super, super comfortably. Yeah. I don't know how I got on this tangent. Oh, the AI taking care of stuff. And we talked about it before. What comedians they couldn't do. I showed you guys a comedian. His name is Robin Harris. Huge in black culture. He was big in the late 80s, early 90s. He was in movies with, you guys know who Ken Play is?
Yes.
Okay, so he played Kid's dad in several movies. In House Party 1, I think in like Class Act, I think he was his dad too. So he was like blowing up because he would just like was going off the cuff, saying funny different stuff. Like basically, you guys know who John Witherspoon is, right?
I'd look him up.
Okay, damn it. Okay, so John Witherspoon became the black dad for most funny stuff, like the movie Friday and stuff, right? So Robin Harris was kind of getting some of those same roles too. They was both like kind of like becoming like the black dads of movies. And then Robin Harris, I think he sadly passed, I think it was 92, 93, of like a massive heart attack. And he was only 42. He was only 42 and like really starting to be discovered. And he was like super funny, telling some of the funniest jokes, just being super original and stuff like that. Like we was watching some of his stand up before we started the podcast, and Oh, if you guys can like listen to him, it is amazing. Shout out to Robin Harris, R.I.P. That man's been gone. He lost him way too soon. So Robin Harris is somebody who I don't think they can redo with AI. Patrice O'Neal, we talked about, definitely couldn't do. Can't redo him with AI. Who else can we not think they could do it? Chris Rock, I feel like you probably couldn't get the full essence of him. Andrew Schultz, you probably couldn't get. No, Bill Burr. You couldn't get Bill Burr.
I'm on the fence because there's part where, while he is probably one of the best like comedians out right now, I do think he tells like 2 or 3 of the same style of joke. Like they could do Louis C.K.
Okay.
Because Louis C.K. to me, 90% of his material is what I call bad lawyer jokes. I had a bad thought. I'm going to defend it. Yeah. And by the end of this, you're going to see how I feel. And then I'm going to go, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to do this.
All right. Okay. All right.
And it could, I think, figure that pattern out.
Okay. Let's figure out the pattern. Okay. Yeah. Patrice O'Neal is very, I got jokes, but I do crowd work within his jokes, or I do a lot of banter within these jokes. Like one of my favorite jokes of his from Elephant in the Room, which is one of the best all-time specials that's ever been put out. He was like, he's like, if you know how you know if you're important or not, if you get abducted or captured, and how long would they look for you? And he was like, he's like, it's a white woman over here. You got top shelf white woman over here. He's like, they would look for you hand and foot. He was like, the chick who got abducted, he's like in arugula or something like that. He was like, remember them NFL players that went missing? They looked for them for 3 minutes. Just at the edge of the water, like, I don't see them. I don't see them. He's like, if you ever go out fishing or on a boat, I have a white baby on a keychain, and so they could come out and find me. Because, it's like that. We have to search high and low nationwide for this one white baby of all time. Black children, they don't go searching for them. We're not going negative like that. But, hey, you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. It's a difference. It's a difference. Yeah. Taylor Swift was in the news again. Swag surfing at the Chiefs game. Yeah, terrible. Yeah, she said she was trying to swag surf. You know why it looked so bad? Because everybody in the booth didn't know what the hell they was doing, because it was one black friend who always is in the booth with her. He wasn't there. So I don't know why she was doing it, right? She wasn't swag surfing. She was doing from Save the Last Dance, when the black dude was teaching the West Jennifer Styles, like left, right, left, right. That's what she was doing. Then she tried to put her cap down, like she was really doing. She's like, and like he like, remember, like he was doing the shoulder. She's like, look at me like this. He's like, So instead of doing the dance swag surfing, which is a huge big thing in the black community, right? She channeled her Save the Last Dance moment with Julia Stiles. Shout out to Julia Stiles, yo! Shout out. That was. That was like terrible. It trashed that was whack as hell. So I want to try to start doing like random things like, hey, this thing went viral, and like this thing went viral this week. So I don't know if you guys seen it. I don't think I put it in the group chat, but this Indian woman went viral because everybody kept calling her a lesbian or kept calling her a butch, right? And then she's like, I'm not a lesbian. Because, sometimes some women get like very like butch or like lesbian like haircuts, but even though they're straight, and they'd be like, why do you think I'm a lesbian? And it was just like, it's because your haircut. Like, sometimes some haircuts are very like, this is what this demographic or group looks like, so it was like, what would you even call, like, there's no butch lesbians, there's no butch Indian lesbians, or there's no lesbian Indians. So it was like, what would you call her? They said Himdian. It was so good. It was like Himdian, and the funniest part, because she read it, you read the captions or whatever, she read it on TikTok and was dying her damn self. It was one of the funniest things I said, because I have to be honest, I was misreading it the whole time. I was like, what is that? Himdian? Himdian? I was like, Hadim? I was like, what is Hadim? And it was like And it was like Hindian, and I was like, yo. Shout out to all the Hindians out there with the Hindian haircuts. I don't know. I'm not trying to get canceled, but that was just funny as hell to me. But yo, so have you ever seen this though? You ever seen like a chick who's like straight, and then like she gets like a certain haircut, and then she gets like a lot of attention? People think she's gay based off her haircut, right? Like I used to tell chicks that I was like, hey, don't get this haircut because you're gonna get like a lot of unwanted attention. Who, from guys? I'm like, no, from girls. Like I don't know if you like a lesbian or anything or bisexual or whatever. It's like no, I'm not. You know, because they, for some reason, Black community or something like that. You know how chicks be like, their hair are like super long and like, I'm gonna get a haircut, and they go from like way down to their butt crack, you know, where their hair is, to like up to their shoulders. Sometimes some women go completely different, where they're like, oh, I'm gonna get a buzz cut, or I'm gonna get like a G.I. Jane haircut, or I'm gonna get this very like pixel haircut, and then they start getting approached aggressively by like lesbians or butch women, and they can't understand like, why I'm getting all this attention by women. All these women are like hitting on me. Like, why is this happening? And I'm like, because of the haircut you got. You know, did you know that that's like, yeah, that's the haircut are usually what most women go for. Like I remember, I can't think of the person. Like, okay, so imagine like a woman has super long hair, and then she gets Ellen DeGeneres haircut. What would you think all of a sudden?
Yeah, I'm either like, oh, she's going through a tough time, like mentally, or yeah, she's expanding her sexual horizons, in which she's probably going through a tough time. Yeah. Mentally. Yeah.
Try to be very PC with that. Nah, but like, and then so like she's like, oh, I just like the style, and then you let them know like, you know, that's the Ellen DeGeneres haircut. You're like, no, it's not. And then all of a sudden you get a lot more attention from women in a different kind of sense. Like, girl, I love your haircut. Like, girl, like, hey, what's up? Hi. You know, and that kind of attention. Like I remember I used to always see that, like butch haircuts, like Ellen DeGeneres or like other ones, and I was like, oh, that person's case. Like, no, it's not. They just like their hair short. And I'm like, oh, well, that haircut usually is centered around like or associated with this. I always thought that too, but it was just super funny. Like I was like, yo, you about to get hit on a lot because of that haircut. Like, or I found out a haircut that is actually not like a full on haircut, but it's kind of, I think this is true. I've been told by like freedom people, was where women with like really long hair cut, they like shave the back part of their hair, and like that's kind of like a saying like, hey, I'm like, I think it's like a lesbian or something like that, or like part of the gay culture or something. I think that's what it is. I remember a few chicks who told me, who were like feminine lesbians, told me that was like, oh, the haircut, that's kind of showing like what that is. It's kind of like a, because I remember because like some stuff, certain stuff in like the gay community that you might know, you might not know. Don't kill me for this, but I remember that's what a few women told me. I was like, why? Oh, you wanted to shave your head? Because, all right, let me be honest. Black people get these things called beady beads, which is basically like just small naps at the back right here, right? So we kind of like cut that out, and sometimes people, like I've seen a lot of black women just get like designs back there as a sense, but versus, so I went in thinking, oh, you did you have a design there before? Did you have a design like in the back part of your thing or back part of your hair? It's kind of like a cool thing where they didn't want to, with someone, like I'm seeing a picture, like some women shave the side of their hair. And then like that was like a thing, but they would get designs, but then they realized like, oh snap, damn it, I messed up. Like now I have to either just let this grow out and deal with that, or shave my whole head to kind of like let it all grow back so it can be even. So a trick way was to like just cut a certain part of the back and just have like a little design in the back, and that way you can like put it like up in a ponytail, you can see it. But then found that was adopted later by like women showing like, hey, no, I'm this way, or I'm like a lesbian kind of a thing. So I had a few coworkers say that to me. Oh, it could be true, it could not be, but that's what they told me. So, like I remember, I used to wear black earrings a lot, so I love being different. I like either like wear big fake earrings or like wearing black diamonds, because it was like black diamonds to me was cool, because like most people wear like fake studs or whatever. Those real? I'm like, hell no. I'm 19. No, I'm not balling like that, you know? But black diamond earrings was always like cool, because I was like, oh, that's dope. Like, you know, yeah, I'm like, you don't see people with no black diamonds. I'm like, you know, people might get like yellow or pink or something, but you don't see black diamonds, right? And then my mom came up to me and said, hey, you got to stop wearing black diamonds. I was like, why? She's like, oh, your cousin who's trans told me that that's a sign that males give that they're gay. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, the black signs is like it's like the new thing. Like, hey, if I got black diamonds in my hair, like I'm kind of like guys. Like in the black community, it was like kind of like an undercover kind of a thing. Like without being overly saying it, it's like a quick little sign. So that's why I heard like the haircut too. It was like, so I wore black diamonds like 2 more times and I just stopped wearing earrings. Because I think my cousin pulled me to this, because I kept wearing them, and then my cousin pulled me to the side one time. She's like, hey, I didn't know what? And she's like, you wearing black diamonds? I was like, so? And she's like, cuz. I was like, what? She's like, cuz. I was like, what? She's like, that means you like girls like me. And I was like, for real? She was like, yeah, that's what it means. I was like, my mom told me, I thought she was tripping. She was like, nope, it's not. It's just a sign, undercover sign that most, they say, and I understand why you don't pick up on it, because you don't, it's undercover sign to let some people know that, if you know, it's one of those, if you know, and then it's like kind of a thing. I was like, well, I don't. She's like, yeah. So she's like, cuz how much was it? What was those earrings? I was like, it was only $8.99. But I bought them. I don't want to get rid of them. She's like, well, if the color switches, so I'll let you know. But yeah, right now that's the if you know sign. So yeah, it was just, I was like, damn. I was like, well, I guess I just wasted $8.99 on stuff. So yeah, that's
I like that she'd give you an update.
Yeah, she gave me an update. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't asked her since about it, but yeah, that was, because this was like, I think this was like 2013 or something like that, 2012. So, but yeah, it was just, yeah, and that was funny to find out. So guys, I got a question real quick. Let's say you and your significant other, right? And she brings up a question like, hey, I think I want a third in the relationship, but it's not a woman. It's like, I want another man in the relationship. Would you be down for that? Or would you prefer, like, let's say you meet a chick and she's like, oh, I have a partner already, male partner. Would you like not to join, but could you be the extra, the throuple kind of a person? Which of those two situations would you? Now, in either situation too, like if you're the third person coming in, you're not doing stuff with the guy. It's just like her, and there's a, hey, just let you know I got a dude kind of a thing. What would you prefer?
So wait, it's not a proper devil's threesome?
It's not a proper devil's threesome. No, it's not.
Okay. And
then it's kind of like in the, like, this is your girl, y'all been together for 2, 3, like, let's say 5 years, something like that. And then she's like, I kind of just want like an extra guy who I'm also dating.
I feel like that gets messy.
Yeah.
That's I feel like it's messy. And also I always think about like transmitted diseases.
That's immediately where I go, dude. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I always be thinking, I'm like, let's say if I'm joining the couple or whatever, not joining the couple, but like, I'm just like, you got a dude and I'm joining, and like, kind of, I'm like, I'm not fucking raw. Like, I'm not immediately like, no, we not doing that. And then I've always thought like, if the chick is pregnant, we literally don't know who this is, right? And Maury's no longer around, so we can't have and the results are in. Or Jerry Springer's gone. Who do we go to find out whose baby it is? Because I'm going to try to leave. Like, no, that's his. That's your dude's. That's your dude. Like, you might do, no, I'm the extra. I'm the extra. I'm the double. I'm the double. I do the stunts. I don't know why I went like that, but yeah. What do you think, Jared? My bad. Give me a breather. Give me a breather. My bad. I didn't mean to.
All I would say is, yeah, I didn't even think about the pregnancy part, but yeah, there's no way I'm doing it raw.
Yeah.
I just, dude, there's that moment where you meet up with the other guy and like you're trying to be cool, so you dap up, but it's a weird.
Yeah.
You're like, is that the hand you dap? Yeah, I couldn't. I don't think I could do it.
I didn't even think about that. I mean, that's why I fist bump dudes, because I don't know which hand you jack off with. Like, I don't, sometimes, and I feel like sometimes this could be funny as hell. The reason why white dudes are always like dapping instead of like handshaking, because it's like, oh, this is the hand I jerk off with. Like, maybe they aren't bad at like the handshake to dap thing. Maybe they just don't. like, nah, I'm trying to save you, dude. And we threw the hand out there, kind of. They go, what is it? Is it which one is it? Is it a kind of a?
I've been really bad at those lately. I'm getting them wrong like every time.
I think I'm gonna start. I remember because I was sick for a while, so I started like fist bumping a lot of people because I was like, I don't want to spread this just in case, kind of a thing. But yeah, because there's a lot of polyamorous couple stuff out there. I'll tell you a quick weird story. I read on Tinder. I was on Tinder one time, and this is why I kind of came with this concept, because chick was like, "Hey, I'm looking for somebody." It was like a long bio. I like to read, so I read long bios. The chick was like, "Hey, I'm looking to have some hot steamy sex tonight." And I was like, "Okay, cool." She was like, "Yeah, but I have a guy." And I was like, "Well, I don't know about all this, but he won't join us. He just needs to be put in the corner." And I was just like, in my crazy wacky head, I was like, "I love to put a white dude in the corner, tell her to sit." You sit over there. You can't join, all right? You can't join. You sit right there, and you stay over there, right? And I'm gonna go have sex with your wife. But then I was like, nah, I could never do this. And the funny thing about it, I matched with that profile. And then I sat there, I was like, it's on me to set this up. What do I do? Sat there for like 20 minutes thinking, and I was like, I'm gonna come back to this. They unmatched me that night. I guess I didn't get to it close enough. So that's why I came up with this random idea. Because there's some freaks out there, yo. And I was just like, how does a guy feel in the street? Does he actually want to be put in timeout in the corner? Like, kind of a thing? That's why that section of porn is always weird to me. The cuckold thing, I'm like, nah, that's weird. But then the polyamory, I don't know, dude. It's because polyamory be like, all right, well, she wants an extra. Do I get an extra too? Like, I mean, you ain't gonna be the only one just bringing a third. I'm gonna bring my own other person. We're gonna have this whole like little situation going. Maybe.
I really don't see how it could be odd numbers.
Yeah, it can't be odd numbers. It's gotta be four.
Which again, you're adding another variable of like more likelihood of STDs,
exactly.
More likelihood of jealousy.
Yeah.
Also, you can't be putting white dudes in the back of the bedroom.
Yeah. I mean, you could if that's what they want, but I don't know if I'm gonna be doing it. That's what. I don't know why I start picturing you, Jared, in the back of the. just. Yeah. I'm like that. I don't know. Like, it's like, I wonder, did Jared ever get back in the classroom? Just got the big, the big cone hat they had back in the day. Punishment, or cuckold in this situation. I don't know where we going with this. I don't know, but this will be a great time to wrap. Because wrap it up, because we want to be safe out there, folks. This has been the latest episode of the Corde Snell Show. Real quick, the new saying I'm gonna say is this. I was like, how they do E60, like 60 minutes a day, so you can be active. Well, have you gotten your 60 minutes of Corde this week? Because Corde made your day. Corde made you laugh. If you haven't, you gotta click like and subscribe to the Corde Snell Show, produced by Jared and with the homie Angel in the background. Noah. We'll talk about it later. But make sure you like, subscribe, share this with everyone you know. If you like some of the stuff that we talked about, keep on listening. If you didn't, you'll eventually like it, okay? Shout out to all the cuckolds out there, and we're gonna keep this thing rolling, and I hope you guys have an amazing week. All right, Corde Snell Show, and we're out.